Welcome, everyone, to the February 2nd, 2026 regular Board of Aldermen meeting. Would everybody please join with me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Alderman Plufka.
Here.
Alderwoman Tice.
Here.
Alderwoman Gold.
Here.
Alderwoman Sims.
Here.
Alderman Lockmiller.
Here.
Alderman Gould.
Here.
Alderwoman Harder.
Here.
Alderman Erger.
Here.
Mayor Dimmons, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Next up is approval of the agenda. Do we have any changes? Yes, Alderman Gould.
I'd like to make a motion, hang on when we get to it here, to remove item under new business, item B, is it right?
Bill number 6589, yes.
Yes, bill number 6589, remove it from the agenda tonight.
Okay. We got a motion and a second to remove new item B, bill number 6589 from the agenda. Any discussion on that? Yes, Alderman Plufka.
Can I ask you why?
Well, after we've done some looking at the potential new program and analyzing what the needs are, I think we need to take a little bit more time to kind of think about it and then potentially bring it back later.
Any other questions? Not? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
All right.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Any other changes to the agenda? Any objection to approving the same as amended by acclamation? Seeing none, it will be so approved. Thank you. Moves us down to item 4, which is announcements, appointments. And we have one item under that, and that is simply when we made the appointment of our new fire chief, we forgot. We were so excited about Chief Bernie being our new chief, we forgot something very important, and that was getting your consent. The mayor gets to appoint with the consent of the Board of Aldermen, and we forgot to do that the last meeting. So a little bit of housekeeping. So with that, can I get a motion to approve my appointment of Ed Bernie as our new fire chief?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion on that? Yes, Alderman Plufka.
I just wanted to say, as somebody that sat in on the formal interview process, but also has been the head of public safety and has dealt with our fire department and the new chief on a number of occasions, I wholeheartedly support his elevation to chief. I think he's going to bring a lot of energy and enthusiasm to the role and continue the very proud tradition of our fire department.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, do we need a roll call on this? No. All in favor of the motion to approve the appointment of Ed Bernie as our new fire chief, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Welcome and congratulations again, Chief. We're going to keep doing this each meeting. Okay, next up is a public hearing. Anybody in the public care to address the Board of Aldermen? Now is the time to do so. All we ask is that you come to the podium right there. Just state your name and your address, and you'll be given up to 3 minutes. Yes.
Dallas Gleason. We live at 8312 Rosalie. And first of all, I want to thank you all for all that you do for us, because we know you spend lots and lots of time looking out for us. So we appreciate that. The reason I'm here is because, well, topic would be lighting, particularly in the industrial court. And looking at our agenda today, we're probably late to the party, but we thought we'd take our 3 minutes of fame anyway, and maybe it'll make a difference to someone somewhere. I moved to my location there. It's like you come off of Hanley on Litzinger, make the right turn. That first row of houses overlooks the creek. And when I moved there in 1992, there from the street to the creek, we had bushes, brush, trees, all kinds of things. We now have a beautiful path. We do love it. We walk on it. But it took out quite a bit of structure. And then now with the creation of the creek, I should say the shoring up the walls, whatever you had to do, took almost all the rest. And so we now look across and we see the more obvious seeing of the industrial court. However, what I'm talking about is really more related to the lighting, and that's at night. And when I moved there, I have to tell you, the industrial court was not even a thing on my mind. I looked across the street. It was not anything to be concerned about. And it was I'm sure it's the explosion of light that has come with LED lighting that has made a real difference. And now if you look across, it's just blasting with light. And also we know that along Hanley, there's been a lot more businesses and things like that, which also bring that same kind of lighting. But the industrial court in particular, we have one thing that really bugs us, and maybe we should have spoken up sooner, but the parking lot for the Carboline industry there has 2 lights that are up on standards, and are up on very tall poles. And they just point right at us. So as we see the light across the way, these 2 are just massive. And I mean, I can take binoculars and look, and I can count how many of the individual lights are within them. It's so directed. And so my request of you all is that as you look at different things that are being built over there, honestly, we didn't go to the meeting about the new building because I was thinking, what's a new building? That's fine. We don't care. There's a new building there. And then all of a sudden, it was like, oh my gosh, lighting. It's going to be more lights, brighter lights than ones are already there, quite possibly. So just would invite you to go down our street, take a look across, and go on down. There are other businesses and other parking lots that are not so bad, maybe have the original lighting that from 1992, I don't know. So that's my piece.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for taking time out. Good evening.
I'm Michael Gleason. I live in the same house as she does, and because she's my wife, I agree with absolutely everything she said there. But I'm going to bring in a different issue. From the Litzinger Road Bridge along Rosalie all the way to where the Lee Wind path goes into the woods, there's a creek, and on the other side of the creek is the industrial court. All the vegetation that's been taken out of there has left us with a fence that's about halfway up and halfway down. That's a great, you can drive by there and see half of it's gone. The other half is, torn, falling apart. There's slats missing. There's sections of it missing. And so we get to see all of the parking lot that is over there. As you get to the end of that fence, which is about 2/3 of the way down, there's I guess a storage yard with a tall cyclone fence around it. And in that storage yard, there are, there are trailers over the road and drop-off trailers. There's orange cones, orange barrels, orange panels for road construction, it looks like. Also, there are stacks of steel, nicely stacked, but it's still steel, it's rusty. And it is very visible when you're walking the path or when you're driving down Rosalie or when I look out my front door every day. And my issue would be is if you could take a look and see if there's any ordinances to get the fence rebuilt and that yard, that cyclone fence, screened in some way so we don't see any of that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mr.
Okay,
Gleason.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. First of all, thank you for taking time out of your schedule to come down here and talk to us about this. I tell people all the time, our residents are our eyes and ears. We do the best that we can to make sure things are up to code. And I'm not suggesting this is or isn't up to code. I have no idea. But just by you bringing this to our attention, I can assure you that Whitney's department will go take a look at that. And as far as the lights are concerned, I imagine she'll be taking a look at that as well. And you've got 2 terrific alder people who I'm sure will be following up or monitoring this thing for you as well. So thank you again for showing up. Anybody else? Have anybody online? Okay, great, thank you. That brings us down to item 7, mayor and alderman reports. For the mayor's report, I was going to talk about the response to the snow, but I'll.
No, go ahead.
No, you have all the numbers handy, but I will just simply say, just first of all, a huge thank you to all of our employees who participated in responding to the, as I said last Thursday at our Coffee with the Mayor, the snowpocalypse. You know, we joke about snow events in St. Louis about how bad they're going to be, and they never seem to live up to the expectations. But I would say the last weekend, or our last snow event, it did. It probably exceeded our expectations in terms of the amount of snow that we had. And what really made it difficult is that we had a lot of snow. We were estimating like 9.5 inches over a relatively short period of time, about 24, 30 hours, coupled with the extremely cold weather. And the reason that's important is that the treatment on the streets really doesn't have any effect on it. So, when we get snow and it's above 25 degrees, you can throw salt down there and that will start breaking down the snow. But we didn't have that. We had single-digit temperature coupled with a lot of snow. But I'm happy to report, and I am starting to get into it already, but I'm happy to report that we cleared about 44 miles of lanes. Our trucks drove a combined over 1,100 miles in responding to that snow event, which, as I said last week, that's almost driving from St. Louis to Salt Lake City. That's how far that is. It's 1,300 miles. So they worked around the clock. Once again, they took time away from their family to stay here and to clear the streets for all of us, clear the streets for our first responders. And our fire department was able to use their new UTV a number of times instead of having to take the fire truck out, which is one of the really great benefits of having that. It's all-wheel drive, and it's easy to maneuver in these streets that have been plowed that might not be as wide as expected or as normal. So all in all, our Public Works Department made a huge sacrifice in putting all that time in, and as did our police and fire for being here on call the entire time. So other than that, I have no other report. Alderman Plufko.
No report.
Alderwoman Tice.
I would like to thank the fire department for the lots of training that they do. Last week they did some ice rescue training in Brentwood Park, and I have seen them do this before, and every time I watch it I'm awed, and I'm glad that I chose not to be a firefighter, because you all are pretty remarkable to do the things that you do. And then secondly, the Ways and Means Committee meeting for this month, which is normally scheduled for this coming Thursday, has been canceled.
Alderwoman Sims.
No report.
Alderman Goode.
There is a Ward 2 quarterly meeting on Wednesday, February 11th at 6:30 in the Community Center.
Thank you. Alderman Lockmuller.
Yes, we will have our Public Works Committee meeting Thursday, February 12th at 6 o'clock right here. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Gould.
No report.
Alderman Erger.
No report.
And Alderman Harder.
No report.
Okay. That brings us down to the city administrator report. We have 3 items. First up is a report on our snow event.
Mayor Dimmitt, I think you did such a fantastic job on sharing what happened, and thanks to Public Works, Parks, Police, and Fire. So I'm just going to move on to the next item.
Okay.
Going to add to the snow.
Oh, please.
You're going to add to the snow.
I'm going to add to the snow.
Complimenting him.
Complimenting him, yes. Okay.
What was that? I didn't.
Nothing. It was a bad joke.
Okay.
Whitney is next. Whitney and H3 are coming to, H3 Studio are coming to the conclusion of the Commercial Design Standard guidelines, and before it goes to Planning and Zoning Commission, she's here to share some of the changes that have been made to that document with the board tonight.
Thank you.
Give me a minute. Doesn't fit.
Doesn't seem to be working. We tested it earlier. Yay. Okay. So we've had a number of meetings and a public workshop and a couple of sessions at the Planning and Zoning. So we just wanted to go through some of the changes since y'all have seen it. And then we would hopefully go back at the February 11th meeting for final review and adoption of the resolution. And this would be adopted as a subcomponent of the comprehensive plan. These are just guidelines for the Planning and Zoning Commission to review projects against. There are a few text amendment recommendations that would be followed up at a later time. So,
What are text amendments?
oh, that's where you'll actually change the text in the code to
Okay.
be consistent with the recommendations.
Okay, thank you.
So the commercial design guidelines largely focus on the GC, RC, retail service areas, urban development, Manchester corridor, not the Manchester corridor, the planned development overlay, and the light industrial. We did not include the Manchester corridor because those were largely discussed as part of that zoning district and is incorporated into the code already. The residential design guidelines were adopted back in August, so we're just continuing with the commercial at this time. So the major changes that we have is we have a few of the small commercial areas that don't meet the current zonings and would not be able to support the current minimum parking requirements. So the discussion has been based upon studies of the parking and the use. The planning and zoning may be able to waive the parking requirements in some instances so as to reutilize these buildings rather than having them sit empty. I won't go through everything. Currently, the Planning and Zoning Commission reviews commercial building projects. They can make a recommendation that a project is referred to the Architectural Review Board. However, they haven't really done that in the past. So an optional architectural review discussion could be that if there was a project that was small enough and just architectural changes to a building that didn't really fit into the whole site development plan requirement, staff or the Planning and Zoning Commission could just refer it to the Architectural Review Board without it having to go through a full site development plan review and Board of Aldermen approval. It would be for those smaller projects. So that is one of the recommendations that a future text amendment may look at.
Do you mind
Yeah,
if I
go right
ask a
ahead.
question? As it relates to Architecture Review Board, is there anything in this that deals with mixed use where a building might be retail on the bottom and residential on the top?
Correct.
Or something like that? Is that covered in this, or is that what this would allow for
Well,
Because
at
obviously
the
architectural
architectural,
review is
that would
normally
be-
residential, but,
Right. The Architectural Review Board would normally be residential. For a full redevelopment such as that, I really feel like that's important for a site plan review at the Planning and Zoning Commission, because that would be a whole complete redevelopment of a site and ultimately your approval. Likely enough, 2 of the 3 Architectural Review Board members are on the Planning and Zoning, so they have provided a lot of that continuity. But if at some point in the future, on those smaller projects that maybe only the Architectural Review Board really needs to review, it would allow that kind of flexibility within the code.
okay, thank you.
Yeah. So another change was to allow for EFIS, or exterior insulation facade systems, to be a permitted minor material. It was originally proposed as a prohibited material. However, some of the members of the Planning and Zoning Commission felt that it could be appropriate on a very minor scale. So we get building design, continuing. For the discussion of doors for commercial and use storefronts, including offices, eating and drinking, clear glass doors may be used. However, there were some instances they felt that a solid door of wood or metal could be complementary to the overall design, and therefore it should be allowed on a case-by-case basis. Large windows, display, and billboards would not be permitted, and they're currently not permitted. Get into specific building design, having the building closer to the street, so large that. The picture on the right of Clayton Road is the example. It was originally thought to be 25 feet, but when we look back at the overall design, the sidewalk is part of the public domain, so the front yard setback was then reduced to 20 feet to be more in characteristic with this layout. So, and then on corner lots, it was originally proposed to have a corner element that was higher than the rest of the building or roof emphasis, and the Planning and Zoning Commission felt that that wasn't always necessary, so that has been stricken from the proposal. So, we propose landscaping zones along South Brentwood Boulevard where there currently isn't any. And then we get into the lighting. We're currently, in one section of the code, we lowered the lighting standard to 3,000 kelvins. Under the MC district, it had it at 48,000 kelvins, so we are striking that to be consistent throughout the code.
Can you speak to what that relates to in a layman's term?
The kelvins is the, if I remember correctly, the brightness of the light.
Color temperature.
Color temperature of the light, where it was recommended by the Sustainability Commission to go to 2,700. However, the board chose 3,000 due to the Ameren standard that does not currently allow to go to 2,700 kelvins. But it helps with the migration of the birds and
it also would help with, industrial areas maybe shining too
correct.
Bright of a light or too, not really brightness, but intense color.
Correct.
Temperature.
So we will certainly go out and look at the residents' issues. However, that area is largely pre-existing non-conforming, right. So we'll have to see what we can do on that.
Correct. Okay. I just want to make sure we put a point on that.
Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
I was going to jump in here because if I'm reading correctly, in any pre-existing non-conforming is one thing, but in the future, bullet 3, like all fixtures shall have directional
correct.
Type of shielding. So some of the omni-directional lighting will not be allowed in industrial going forward if they put in new lights once this code is put in.
Correct. Okay. So like if you remember with the KinderCare, sorry. If you remember with the KinderCare, we did look at the lighting not to be spilled off. So any new development requires a lighting plan and a lighting study. So, okay.
The other major designs was that, again, the 25-foot front yard was reduced to 20 feet to put more in line with the real-world example of Clayton Road. That would, then we have the, again, 20-foot in providing, and that, you know, in front of the buildings, there should be a pedestrian zone to provide cross pedestrian access along all of the building frontages. So that's, again, under the yard and setback requirements, that would be reduced to a front yard build-to line of 20 feet for frontages on Brentwood Boulevard and Hanley Road. And then this gets into the discussion where in the comprehensive plan, the light industrials areas generally talked about converting over to office mixed-use developments. So in order to promote that, we're looking at increasing the number of uses that's in the light industrial, but that would be a much more detailed discussion during the text amendment phase, because that may get into more of looking at these on a case-by-case basis. There are industrial uses you may not always want next to multi-use residential or office uses due to the noise impact. So we would look at that further as part of a future text amendment. So, and those are largely all of the changes.
Okay,
So,
thank you. This is simply an update, right?
yes.
What's the next step?
So the next step is we'll be back at the February 11th Planning and Zoning Commission for final review, and then adoption of a resolution and a public hearing. The resolution is to adopt it as a component of the comprehensive plan. So,
Great, thank you. Yes, Alderman
I
Gould.
did have one more
Yep.
thought that I remembered during our ward meeting, one of the residents had brought up the idea that several applications recently have included some nicely designed wall features where there's just kind of like, you know, a mural, let's say. And he recognized that they were seeing that as a trend in other cities as well, and it can be kind of nice as an additional. Did you all discuss that during this process in any way? I know that we prohibit billboards.
yes.
But what would that look like? Was there any discussion about those type of design treatments that we're seeing? And then what would it take, or would we want to not put that in at all?
We did not discuss that because we were getting into the architectural style of the building. The code does allow for outstanding features and site design to allow for site coverage bonus, which we generally get into as part of that review. And so that's discussed at the Planning and Zoning Commission for each project that wishes to propose something like that.
So these guidelines wouldn't prohibit somebody to come in and propose some nice mural or something
Correct.
that they want to do for whatever reason, but it would just be reviewed at that time.
Correct. It would generally also be reviewed as part of a comprehensive sign plan. The courts have ruled that artwork is a form of signage, so
Sure.
it would be reviewed under that standard as
Okay,
well.
great.
So,
So there's a process for it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, thanks, Whitney.
if you have any comments or want to make further suggestions, feel free to let me know.
Yep. Is that it for the, okay. We're going to move down to the consent agenda. Do we have any questions about any of the items on the consent agenda? Any requests to remove any of the items from the consent agenda? If not, the chair would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Plufka?
Yes.
Alderwoman Tice?
Yes.
Alderwoman Gold?
Yes.
Alderwoman Sims?
Yes.
Alderman Lockmiller?
Yes.
Alderman Gould?
Yes.
Alderwoman Harder?
Yes.
Alderman Erger?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. We have no old business, so that takes us down to new business. We have 3 items. First up is Bill number 6588. Could we get
2 items now.
Two.
2
One was
items?
Removed one.
We still have, Yeah, there are three on there.
Oh.
It's the employee handbook stuff. Bill,
yeah, you're right.
can we get a first read of Bill number 6588 by title only, please?
Yes, Bill number 6588, an ordinance granting site development plan approval for a new building at 350 Hanley Industrial Court.
Thank you. Whitney?
Good evening. Carboline, if you remember last year, they came through for the renovation and site development plan for the building at 350 Hanley Industrial Court. However, after looking at the structural integrity of the building, it was determined that it wasn't feasible to make the upgrades necessary that they were looking into. So they have come back. They will have to tear down the existing structure and build a new one in its place, a new 15,010 square foot, two-story building with a one-story, 1,875 square foot storage building to replace the existing structure. It will meet with the front yard setback requirements with some parking in front. However, they also did have to get a variance that was granted at December 3rd for the rear yard setback to be able to connect to the existing structure that connects all of the buildings. And that was granted. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval at its meeting on January 14th. And so they're here for your approval.
Okay, thank you. I have one question, and that is I was at a ribbon cutting for Carboline when they did their fire building. Is that part of the building that's coming down, or is that separate from
That's a separate building.
Okay.
That's adjacent to it.
Okay. All right. Yes, Alderman Lockmuller.
Whitney, I guess it's so embedded in the industrial area, I guess it didn't reach the 500 feet into the residential areas as far as
Well, it's only
notification?
300 feet.
But
I don't remember where that went to, but it's for all of the properties within 300 feet of this building.
and no issues from,
We have not heard anything from the residents.
and then the rooftop, what type of mechanical HVAC or whatever on top of there? Is there, compared to what they have now, I know this is a tear down and rebuild, going to be any noisier, let's say, than the,
Well, they have rooftop screening to protect for the noise per the code, but it is just the HVAC. Do you want to? Tyson Pyle, he's with the architect with Arcturus.
Good evening. I'm Tyson Pyle with Arcturus on behalf of Carboline, 701 Market Street, 63101, Suite 1300. Yeah, so this is pardon me, I'm also getting over sort of the bug that everyone's going around. This is the culmination of multiple phases of reinvestment that Carboline has been spending over these last few years to, after their facility flooded in, I think, early 22, that from their corporate headquarters, it's now decided that they want to actually tremendously reinvest in what's going on here at Hanley Industrial Court. So this is a Class A office and laboratory space. That is, it is a tear down of two existing buildings, as you can see there. But it's going to be fully within, except for our one variance, within the new zoning requirements. So everything that we are going to, or we have been proposing to date, has been what I like to call down the middle of the fairway, including, as I think we heard a little bit about lighting concerns. All those will be addressed, and we will have lighting that conforms with city standards. We have lighting designer on staff. And as Whitney alluded to, so even from a sustainability standpoint, it's better to have fixtures that control glare and spill. And so our fixtures will very much be conforming to any concerns, and I'm happy to provide all of our lighting calcs to back that up. But for the specific question about the rooftop equipment, the architectural design is intended to help incorporate that and fully screen it from public view, as well as mitigate noise. There's nothing out of the ordinary in terms of the tonnage that's on top. It's mostly there just to heat and cool the building. It's not the same scale as the furnace that was back in 2018. It's not that intense.
thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, Alderman Goad.
First, I love what you guys did on Litzinger. That building looks fantastic
Oh, thank-
compared to where you started. So thank you for that. And then thank you for considering the neighbors' concerns regarding lighting, because I know that's, I know two spoke today, but I've heard from a few other people about similar concerns with just the way trees are coming down. So thank you for considering that.
I'll certainly, even though some of the concerns are out of the scope of what this project is, I can certainly convey those concerns, use my position with the client to let them know that that is raised. And so I will communicate that back.
That'd be wonderful. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, well, we're going to take this up at the February 17th meeting. There is no meeting on the 16th because that's President's Day. And I know it's not mayor's report. I will not be at the 17th. Be down in Jeff City for Missouri Municipal League Legislative Conference. So Alderwoman Tice, as the president of the board or whatever the title is, will be running the 17th. Okay, so thank you very much. Next up is resolution number 1578. Who is presenting on this? Is Tangela or?
You online? I'll take it.
Okay, thank you. Do we need a reading on this resolution? Nope. Okay, go right ahead, Bola.
So Ways and Means spent a lot of time, several meetings, considering the vehicle commuting policy. They asked staff to take a fresh approach to it, and in consulting with the city's Labor Council, what you have before you is a completely new vehicle commuting policy. So this policy now has removed positions that no longer exist in the city, positions that no longer receive vehicle allowance, and we've added positions that are new to the city's organizational structure. For instance, the major of commuting policy, major of administration, and the canine officer to reflect the city's current structure. And one that was removed because we no longer have that role is the Drug Enforcement Administration Task Force. So this policy outlines the insurance requirements, use of city vehicle and personal vehicles on city business, who is authorized as drivers of city-owned vehicles, how you use equipment such as radio and the communication system and your cell phone, and what are the requirements for operators. Your driver's license has to be in good standing. The city checks that annually. We do also check that when you are a new employee of the city, and we go as far back as 10 years in checking your driver's license record. This policy also includes the general operational policies, how to report accidents when you are involved in one, hopefully not as much, and inspections and the compliance with IRS regulations. So Exhibit A has all those who are allowed to take home a city vehicle: fire chief, police chief, assistant fire chief, police major of administration, police major of community policy, and the canine officer. And then Exhibit B is the vehicle policy employee acknowledgement that we ask staff to sign off on. So this is the policy for your consideration.
Well, I want to thank Ways and Means for taking a look at this. This is something that has been needed to be reviewed for quite some time. So thank you, Alderman Tice. Yes. Yes.
Oh, I was going to reiterate what Bola and now you have said, is that the 4 members of the Ways and Means Committee looked at this over multiple meetings, really went in depth, asked a lot of good questions, and I think we're at a really strong, solid policy that protects our city and our employees. So.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Motion to approve Resolution 1578.
All right, thank you. We got a motion to approve Resolution 1578. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? We need a roll call or voice? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. The final item under new business is Resolution 1579, which is tied into 1578.
This is amendment of the employee handbook that allows us to roll in Resolution 1578 into that document.
So 1578 was the new policy. 1579 is putting that into the employee handbook.
Correct.
Wonderful. All right. Any discussion on that? If not, can we get a motion to approve Resolution 1579?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Brings us down to the final item on tonight's agenda, which is citizen comments. Once again, if anybody in the public cares to address the board, now is the time to do so. All we ask is that you come to the dais and state your name, and you'll be given up to 3 minutes. Do we have anybody online?
Nope.
Wonderful. Well, seeing that we have no further business tonight, this meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everybody.